Hello, 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 Kankakee, and welcome to a special episode of Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill. I am your host, Melissa Farmer, and we are so delighted that you've tuned in on this special occasion. We've weathered the storm, and we're enjoying this weather. And always, as always, my host to the left is Mr. Andre Hill, and he's going to tell you a little bit about why we're here.
We'd definitely like to thank everybody for tuning in to Contemporary Living today. As you look behind me, there's a sign that says Kankakee Area Youth for Christ City Life Center. And that's where we at here, right? We're here located at 1820 East Court Street in Kankakee, Illinois. And they're hosting a teen summit here today. And they're going to be talking about the issues that's plaguing our community today. Hopefully they're going to have some solutions and put forth some action plans to go forward from this day forward, to make the city of Kankakee great.
And one of the things that you need to consider as you watch this program is what can you do for your community, either whether you're here in Kankakee or whether you're in a different community, because it's so important that our teens get involved and become a part of the process of making change. So continue to watch this program to find out what you can do in the Kankakee community or how you can start something on your own. We'll be back.
Okay, up next, we have a great speaker that's coming that's going to give us some insight on voter registration. She is a member of the NAACP. She is an activist of our great community here in Kankakee. And she has her own show called The Diane Boone Show. So we got Diane Boone that's going to come and give us some knowledge on voters registration.
I just want to encourage everyone about the voting. We have a very high-profile election coming up. Just besides the president election, we got things coming up here in Kankakee too. We have state's attorney running. We got state rep running. So I just try to encourage people to get the vote out. I have a table set back there for the ones that need to register to vote, so they make sure they have a voting card when that time comes. If you're 17 years old now and you'll be 18 before November the 8th, you are eligible to vote if you fill out an application. If you're a convicted felon here in the state of Illinois and you're not incarcerated, you can be eligible to vote if you fill out a voter registration application. We need to focus on just not the president election. We need to focus on our local election and our state election. That's very important. And we know those elections are so important because those elections is the one that we can get our monies from. They're concerning our schools, school board, police department, fire department, all those services that we need here in our community. Those monies come from the state of Illinois and they trickle down to the county and to the city. And that's why it's so important for us to vote here in our own community, because we need to put people in that will be advocating for us, that will be representing us. We tired of paying taxes and no representation. So if you want good representation, you got to put good people in that are willing to fight for you. So that's why voting is so important. That's why we always say at NAACP, let your vote be your voice. Let them hear you loud and clear. And when you want things, you can demand it when you vote. You can't demand anything if you're not being part of the process. And that's what's wrong with some of us in the black community. We don't want to be part of the process. But newsflash, you part of the process the day you was born. So you might as well get involved, get engaged, because you're already part of the process.
All right, we're back here with Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill, and we have the one and only Miss Diane Boone, activist, NAACP member. She's very active in the community. She has a TV show called Diane Boone, and Miss Diane Boone don't mind speaking her mind. How you doing, Miss Diane?
I'm doing fine, baby. I'm blessed, highly favored.
That's good. I got to ask you a couple of questions. We got a few questions lined up for you.
Okay.
All right, first question I got to ask you. What is the importance of voting and why should people vote?
Oh, God. The importance of voting, especially for black people, we the only people that they had to pass a bill for us to vote.
Yes.
In 1965. And so many people died to get that bill passed.
Yes.
I mean, they got lynched, shot, hung, all kind of stuff happened to them. Yeah. So that, to me, it's very, very deep down in my soul when it comes to voting. We have the right to do so, and we need to exercise it. Even though I know the Constitution wasn't pretty much wrote for us as black people, but we here,
Yes.
and we might should take advantage of it, and make it work for us. So we need to vote on a state, local, and federal level because it's very serious.
How important is the local election? How important is
Oh,
voting locally?
It just as important, just like voting for the president or somebody for the state. A lot of those monies come from the federal government and the state government to our local branches here in Kankakee. And we need to be a part of that. We have cut ourselves out so much money that we could have gotten help
Yes.
with by not voting. See, we won't exercise our rights, and we won't make no demands on anything. Like Snipe said earlier, we need to demand them when they get our vote. We need to have a list of things that we want them to do on a local level when it comes to our politicians. And see, we don't demand anything. I'm talking about we got to demand things besides Section 8 and food stamps. Okay?
Yeah.
They give us that. All right? But we need more than that. We got to own property. We want good schools. All that stuff come from voting. If you're not a part of the process, these people is not going to listen to nothing you got to say. So you got to vote, man.
Right. And I think one of the things that has bothered me lately, especially on social media, I've been seeing a lot of prevalent black leaders that's out there doing stuff in their communities, but they're against voting. But the same system that you're against, voting allowed you to do the things that you do today. But when you hear that and saying that, the system's rigged and people don't need to vote, it really bothers me.
It hurts me to the core because, see, if that Baptist preacher hadn't came out that pulpit and fought for the right to vote, if he hadn't, if the NAACP hadn't chose Rosie Park not to sit on that bus, we wouldn't be where we at today. And see, one thing that I learned out of all the years that I've been doing this is it's money involved. Yeah. And that's how you have to get things done. You have to go after the core of that money. And our vote is worth money. It's because they cannot win. No election can be won without the black vote.
Right.
And we need to know and have them to specifically say what the black community gonna get when we give our vote. That's the only way the process gonna work.
Absolutely. And I do believe Melissa had a couple of questions that she wanted to ask you also.
Yes, I absolutely do. And, one of the things, and I've just met you today, but one of the things I really like about you and just seeing you up on the panel is you cut through the chase and you let us, you continue to remind us the significance of why it's so important to vote. Just like they did back during the civil rights movement, it's still carried on today. Now, having said that, and you participating in this teen summit, my question is a two-part question, and that is, in your opinion, what is the greatest challenge with getting millennials, so we're talking about that young generation under 35 right now, to the polls? And also the second part to that question is, what can parents do to encourage their children prior to them getting to voting age to vote? So what's the greatest challenge for millennials, and what can parents do to get the children to vote before it's time for them to vote?
We need to help our children to understand how this country is governed, okay? I encourage all parents to get the Constitution and have your youngsters to sit down and read it, or you read it to them, because the Constitution is how America was shaped, and that's what we go by today. That's why we have democracy. And the only way you can be able to keep your freedom and your liberty and democracy, you got to be part of the process. You got to vote. And you got to pay attention on who the peoples are running for you to vote for. You got to know what these people's about. You need to go in their background, see what they have done in the black community, see how they have served the black people before they came to ask for the vote. We have all that stuff is part of their history. Why would you want to vote somebody in if you know they haven't done anything for black people? Or they've been against some of the laws or some of the rules that have been passed, some of the legislation, they have stalled it or blocked it. Why would you want to give that person your vote? It's all come back to one thing, education. You have to educate yourself, and you have to educate your children. And most black children don't take political science. And political science is all about governing. Yes. It's all about that. That's what it's about. And we need to get involved. We need to get our children involved in the subjects that are going to really help them and give them the tools that they need. And voting is the number one tool. And I've been telling people lately, you need to make that a priority. Just like you make anything else in your life a priority. Because they got a lot to do with economics and the economy. And it's all based on voting. And it's hard to get young people because young people ain't coming from a household that teach that. See, I came out of a household that taught that. I was around Miss Fannie Lou Haman. You know, I was around all the people, some of them that walked with Dr. King that came in our community back in the 60s. I was around them. My mother and father was part of the civil rights movement. But now they feel that we don't need the movement no more because we've been desegregated. Yes. We can go places now and we can do some few things that we used to couldn't do. So now black people is separated, disconnected, and feel that we don't need one another.
So we got comfortable.
Yeah, we done got comfortable. Yeah. And it's gonna hurt us severely because now they're closing up all them schools in Chicago. And if you don't vote to get the right funding for your district, something's gonna be cut in your district. So that's how you keep the money in your community, and that's how you make politicians held accountable for what they do. Right. It's about voting. Because if that rascal gonna do what he say he gonna do this time, you know to vote his ass out next time. All right? Right? Okay. That's how you get him.
You're right.
We got that. but before we go, tell us a little bit about where the people of Kankakee can find out about your show.
Oh. You can go to YouTube. I got some stuff posted on YouTube. The Diane Boone Show. It come on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. And I also written a book called Growing Up Black in the Jim Crow South. Barnes & Noble and Amazon have that. Okay. Or you can just get in touch with me. I'm on Facebook. You know, you can hit me up on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. All of those places. I don't have an Instagram account as of right now, but I am on those two social media, you know. So hit me up. I'm always at the NAACP. You know, I do a lot of outreach stuff through the NAACP. Yes. And that's another thing. People need to get involved with a local NAACP branch. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. Get involved.
Yeah, they need to get engaged with a NAACP branch because the NAACP offer a lot of things too. They offer pro bono, you know, for as lawyers and stuff. If you need help, when you put in a complaint, they'll stick right there with you. If you got a good complaint, that they'll help you fight. You know, if they see some merit in it, they'll go with you on it, you know. But you have to get involved and know what this branch offer. Yeah. You know, what this agency offer, this branch of the NAACP. Man, y'all need to get involved.
All right.
And it just ain't for black folks. It's for anybody that's human.
Hold on. Before we end this session, you talked earlier about felons being able to vote in the state of Illinois. A lot of people don't know that, so can you just hit on that very briefly right quick?
They passed the law here in the state of Illinois, I think it was 2014 or 2015, that felonies can vote here in this state. All you got to do is register to vote, and you can vote on election day. It doesn't matter how much time you did, as long as you ain't locked up now. and you are an Illinois citizen, you can vote here in the state of Illinois. And if you have a child that's 17 years old today and will be 18 by November the 8th of the general election, that child is eligible to vote also. It's a lot of things that people need to know. Banning the box. The NAACP banned the box. Ban the box means if you're a convicted felon and you go and fill out an application and they ask you on the application, have you ever been a convicted felon, you ain't got to check that box. That's what it means about ban the box. Wow. And I just heard Hillary Clinton say the other day they're going to make it a federal law all the way across the board where they ban the box. Now, we just got it here in the state of Illinois. The NAACP fought for it here in the state of Illinois. But they going to fix it where the box going to be banned all the way across the board in all states.
Hold on. All right. Before I let you go, I got to ask you another question. I seen on TV Governor Rauner, he has a Fix Illinois where he feels that city officials should do a certain amount as far as their term. Do you think terms should be limited? Should you be able to do 2 terms, then let somebody else come in and fill those positions? I
feel that terms should be limited. I don't think no politician should be a career politician where they just live off of the taxpayers' money, okay? Mm-hmm. If they're going to limit the president, they should limit all offices to hold to a certain time. Let's go all the way down. I wish they could limit the Supreme judges, court judges, but I know they can't.
Well, that's
once they get in, they in forever. But that's the only job should be lifetime, right. Not the politicians. Right. Okay, yeah. Their jobs need to be limited.
Okay, well, that's really something to consider. But thank you for taking time out with Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill, and we just appreciate all of your wisdom, all of your knowledge, and all of your sharing. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Ms. Diane Boone.
Now, when do I turn this thing on and see y'all? Right.